The war in Ukraine continues with full intensity, July 30th, 2026. A lone Russian soldier moving through open ground south of Pokrovsk, unaware that a reconnaissance drone has already marked his position and an FPV was dispatched minutes ago. He hears the drone before he sees it, breaks into a run, dives for cover. The position he chooses is completely exposed. The drone reaches him before he can find anything better. A soldier on a motorbike, the most common way of moving on this front, and one of the easiest intercepts for a drone operator. Speed means nothing against what's tracking from above. And the strikes continue. Cursed Empire operators working through everything, moving along the same route. Soldiers on foot, vehicles, equipment, one after another. A systematic sweep of whatever Russia has in motion through this sector. Each target spotted by reconnaissance, coordinates passed, drone directed in. The route that was supposed to move troops and supplies forward becomes the place nothing gets through. 2 Russian soldiers out of their vehicle, an FPV drone already circling above them. They run, they change direction, they draw circles across the open ground, trying to deny the operator a clean angle. A weapon in each hand, but the drone moves faster than they can line up a shot. Minutes of this. The operator keeps adjusting, keeps looking for the right moment. Eventually, one of them is in the right place at the wrong time. The drone closes and finds him. Then the vehicle gets the same treatment. A drone operator scanning the area around disabled armored vehicles, checking for anyone using the wrecks as cover. It doesn't take long. A Russian soldier concealed beneath a disabled vehicle, pressed flat against the ground, trying to disappear into the shadow. The position is spotted. The drone moves in and finds him exactly where he's hiding. Running as fast as possible. It still isn't enough. A Russian soldier trying to outpace an FPV drone, closing from behind. The gap closes, regardless of how hard he runs. Southern Donetsk. A Russian soldier spotted climbing out of a Ukrainian defensive trench, a position he was using for cover on the wrong side of the line. Ukraine's Magyar's birds operators respond immediately, FPV drones already closing in before he clears the trench. He emerges into open ground with no time to assess the situation. The drones reach him before he understands what's tracking him. No chance to respond, no way to take cover again. This time, footage from inside a Russian bunker showing the drone attack carried out by Ukrainian FPV drones on the bunker. This is what a drone attack looks like from the inside. It's devastating. An abandoned building, one of the most common hiding spots Russian soldiers choose on this front. A reconnaissance drone spots one entering. An FPV carrying a heavy payload moves in immediately, flies directly through the entrance, and detonates inside. The walls that were supposed to provide shelter absorb the blast instead. A Russian BMP-1 sitting completely still. Crew inside, no sign that the position has been identified. An anti-tank mine-equipped drone is dispatched and closes in over several minutes. The vehicle hasn't moved, hasn't reacted, still unaware of what's approaching. A single strike connects. The resulting explosion triggers the ammunition stored inside, and what follows is far larger than the initial hit. A stationary armored vehicle with its crew aboard, gone in one pass. Across the 59th Assault Brigade sector, the same pattern plays out again. Russian soldiers moving alone through open ground, no clear objective visible, no coordination apparent. Whether they've been given a direction and lost it, separated from their units, or simply sent forward without a plan. From above, the result looks the same. Wandering, exposed, every step tracked from the moment they enter the area. The last thing each one sees is the drone that's been following them closing in. Perm unit operators working well behind the contact line in the Novopavlivka direction. Transport vehicles and personnel caught moving through areas they consider safe from drone coverage. The distance from the front creates a false sense of security. Soldiers moving without the caution they'd use closer to the line, vehicles traveling routes they believe are unmonitored. That assumption is what makes them easier to find. Ukrainian Mi-8 and Mi-24 helicopters engaging Russian Shahed-136 and Gerbera kamikaze drones over Kherson Oblast, not with missiles, but with machine gun fire. 14 drones brought down in the same engagement, each one falling and detonating at a safe distance. Helicopters using their onboard weapons to intercept slow-moving aerial threats is an unconventional solution to a problem that conventional air defense systems aren't always positioned to handle. Clean, methodical, effective. Ukraine's U-2 Brotherhood drone pilots working through Russian logistics routes, infantry on foot, light and heavy vehicles, MLRS systems, towed artillery, all moving along the same exposed corridors. What this footage captures is the pattern that keeps repeating. Russian forces advancing or resupplying without meaningful drone cover. No real countermeasure in place for what's observing from above. Each vehicle that enters this route gets tracked. Each one gets reached before it completes the run. The chaos visible in these scenes isn't exceptional. It's what happens when an entire logistics column moves through territory that's already under persistent aerial observation. Nothing gets through. A Ukrainian Shark reconnaissance drone locates a Russian command post in occupied Luhansk Oblast, coordinates passed to the Air Force. A GBU-64 JDA-MER guided bomb reaches the building before anyone inside realizes it has been found. The command post that was coordinating operations in this sector goes silent. A Ukrainian ground robotic system on a supply run when a Russian FPV drone closes in from behind. Caught on the rear camera just in time. The operator reads the angle, makes a sharp maneuver at the last moment, and the drone misses. The robotic system continues the mission and delivers its cargo to Ukrainian troops. On a front where robots are increasingly taking the risk that soldiers used to take, this is what a close call looks like. A Swedish-made RBS-70 short-range air defense system, laser beam guided with a range of around 9 kilometers, thermal imaging and auto-tracking capability. Ukrainian air defense operators putting it to use against Russian aerial targets. A precision system designed exactly for this kind of engagement. Sarapul is burning. Udmurtia, 1,300 kilometers from Ukraine's border. The Prioritet facility, a heavily guarded state fuel depot storing Russia's emergency petroleum reserves, set ablaze by Ukrainian drones. The regional governor called it the largest mass drone attack on the region in recent times. This isn't a commercial target. It's a Rosreserve state reserve facility, built specifically to fuel Russia's military and economy in a crisis. The crisis it was built for is the one currently depleting it. Ukraine's long-range drones reaching a facility that until recently was considered completely out of reach. A well-established Russian artillery position in the Novopavlivka direction, the kind that takes time and resources to set up. Ukraine's Perm unit locates it and works through what's there. Around a dozen concealed artillery pieces found and struck one by one, along with the crews operating them in the field. Every artillery piece removed here is a weapon that no longer fires on Ukrainian positions. The ammunition stockpile goes with it. The sky above Sumy Oblast, another batch of Russian Molniya 2 strike drones, intercepted before they reached their targets. Ukrainian interceptor drones tracking each one down and closing in. A Molniya 2 that doesn't reach its target is a Ukrainian position that doesn't take a hit, an artillery piece that doesn't get a correction, a vehicle that doesn't burn. The aerial war running above the front never pauses, and neither does the interception. A Russian motorboat base in Crimea struck and set ablaze. 4 more Shadow Fleet tankers hit in the Black and Azov Seas, 205 vessels total since the operation began. 5 air defense elements taken out in the same stretch. Radar systems in Zaporizhzhia and Rostov Oblast. A Buk M3 caught on a transport trailer. Radar shelters in Crimea. and a drone launch and storage site at Donetsk airport. The platform Russia has been using to send Shaheds toward Ukrainian positions, found and struck directly. Every radar gone is a gap in the coverage protecting Russian forces. Every tanker hit is fuel that doesn't reach the peninsula. What you just watched is happening every single day. As of today, July 30th, day 1618 of this war. Russia's total combat losses are approaching the 1.5 million mark, with 1,360 more in the last 24 hours. Last night, Russia launched over 70 ballistic missiles and 280 drones across Ukraine. Damage reported in Kyiv, Lviv, Dnipropetrovsk, and multiple other regions. A Russian cruise missile reportedly entered Polish airspace. The same night, Ukraine struck two of Russia's largest oil refineries, the Lukoil-Permnefteorgsintez facility in Perm, 1,500 kilometers from Ukraine's border, processing nearly 13 million tons of crude oil annually, and a major refinery in Ryazan, 360 kilometers from the border. Ukraine has now carried out more than 1,000 long-range strike missions as part of what it calls its deep strike campaign. Russia responds by hitting Ukrainian cities. Ukraine responds by hitting Russian refineries. The front barely moves. Drop a comment. With refineries burning 1,500 kilometers inside Russia, how does Russia keep this war funded?